It's Sunday. You know it must be Sunday dinner with Chef Joe. Hey, everybody, and welcome to a really cold New England Sunday here. I mean, as Mike Myers says in Austin Powers, it's freaking freezing here, Mr. Bigglesworth. I mean, it's cold, man. And, of course, I'm in a t-shirt, but what else? Anyways, today I am super excited because today we're going to make food for next week's really big game. And, of course, you know, you're not allowed to, on TV and stuff, you're not allowed to say unless you're a member or you're a sponsor. So we're just calling it the big game. But anyways, today we're going to make two options for your Super Bowl food day that go with what team you're for. So if you're for the Bucs, today we're making a Bucs coconut rum shrimp, and if you're for the Kansas City Chiefs, we're making ribs. Of course, why not? It's either steak or ribs in Kansas City, right, guys? Right. So let's get moving. All right, so first we're going to start working on the ribs. So here I have a rack of ribs. Now, there are literally there's different cuts of ribs, but for when you're making a Kansas City style rib, you want to use a rack that is not a baby back. It's more of a kind of a center cut type rack of ribs. The big difference is in a St. Louis style rib and a Kansas City rib is they're both from center cuts, but one has like a big, like a lot of times you'll see like a big like extra flap coming off of it. That's called the brisket bone, and sometimes it has some bones in it, sometimes it doesn't, but that's actually called the brisket bone. So what I couldn't find that today, so we're going to use a St. Louis center cut rib for that. And if you can't get that, hey, baby backs work too. So the first thing we want to do is we want to prep our ribs here. So on the back of the ribs, you have this membrane that you always want to get rid of. So the easiest way to do it is either take your finger or the blade of the point of a knife, and then you want to literally take your hands, and we've talked about this before when we did our show outside, but you're literally pulling that membrane off. And the reason you want to do that is, and I think I've said this before, is you ever been to a restaurant and you buy and you eat ribs and it tastes like it has paper on the back of the rib? That's this membrane. And that means that the restaurant did not do what they were supposed to do when they were making them. So it means they don't know what they're talking about. So next time maybe you shouldn't get ribs there. So anyways, you want to get this membrane right off. And there's a lot of times you need a little bit of help if it's slippery or if it's I've let these rest for a few minutes so they're not as cold. So it's a little bit more, the fat has, loosened up a little bit in here. But anyways, that's what you're going to do. So you're going to take that off, okay? Next thing you're going to do is we're going to season we're going to make our rub for our pork ribs. Now, the big difference in Kansas City style ribs, another big difference is sugar. They like really sweet, sugary ribs. So what we're going to start off with today is, I always have brown sugar in my dry rub, but we're going to use a lot more brown sugar in this rub than you normally would. So this is a half a cup of dark brown sugar. Get that out of there. All right, half a cup of dark brown sugar. We're doing a tablespoon of kosher salt. We're doing 1 teaspoon of black pepper. We're doing 1 teaspoon of freshly ground allspice. And again, if you don't grind it yourself, buy the ground stuff, it's fine. But I love allspice. By the way, today the allspice is our flavor throughout this whole thing, so you'll see. So we got our allspice. We've got I want to put some paprika in it, but I don't want a lot. And so I'm using a really hot paprika. And we're using this really good Hungarian paprika that we love in our house. Always makes Camera Lady sneeze. By the way, Camera Lady's taking a break today. She's here. She's watching, but she wanted a camera break. So we have a new camera person for the day. Then we're going to use a teaspoon of cumin. And we're going to use 2 tablespoons of dark chili powder. And then we're going to just mix all that up, just like that. All right. And we're making our rub. And this brown sugar is already starting to dry out, so I'm already getting lumps. So, but that's okay, because we're going to be putting this in an oven for several hours, so it'll be fine. And then you're going to literally just take your rub, and you're going to put it all over your pork. Okay. Then we're going to flip it over. And that's okay if it comes off. It's perfectly fine. And then we're going to take the rest of it and we're going to do the back of it. All right, and we're going to rub all that on the back of it. Get some more on there. There we go. All right. And again, you got extra on the sides, which is fine. You leave it right in here. Now, we got one more ingredient we're going to add to this. And what we're going to add is a little liquid smoke. So, because we are not doing this outside, again, you guys, it's like literally like 15 degrees outside plus wind chill. So, we're obviously not going to put this in my smoker today. So, what we're going to do is we're going to actually put this in my regular oven. So, I still want to create some hickory smoke with it. So, I'm using a liquid smoke, any kind of liquid smoke you want. This is a little hickory, and I'm putting in about 1 to 2 tablespoons of hickory liquid smoke. And literally all it is concentrated smoke water. So like literally it's like they took smoke and they put it in water and they just left it there for hours. And what we're doing is we're just drizzling and basting it all on top of our ribs. And what that'll do is that'll literally will give it, and it's okay if it gets onto the foil or whatever, because again, we're just trying to give it a little bit of smoke flavor. And what that'll do is that'll penetrate as it's cooking, and you'll have literally a smoky rib flavor from your oven. From that point, you guys, all we're going to do is we're going to put that in our oven at 275 degrees, open just like that, for 275 degrees for an hour and a half. After an hour and a half, you're going to use any KC-style, Kansas City-style barbecue sauce you want. I'm not making barbecue sauce today. We got too much going on. I promise you, though, when we go back outside in the spring and summer, we will make barbecue sauce from scratch. But anyways, just use any good old barbecue sauce that you like. I'm using a KC-style, Kansas City-style barbecue sauce. You're going to rub that on your pork after an hour and a half. You're going to put it back in the oven for another hour and a half. All right? And at the end of the show, I'll show you what it looks like. All right. So, now we're going to work on our shrimp. So, first thing we're going to do is we need to get all of our ingredients together for our shrimp. So, anyways, we're going to start off. We have here I'm just looking for something to use. We have here cream de cocoa. We have here some cream de cocoa. And we are going to put in this is about a half a cup of cream de cocoa. And this is based on 1 pound of shrimp. And I'm going to show you our shrimp in a minute. All right. So it's a half a cup of cream de cocoa. Okay. Next, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of dark rum. You can use any kind of dark rum you like. My buddy Reggie, as you remember, gave me some black ice. Reggie, I know you're watching, so thank you. We're using it today in our recipe for the shrimp. So this is 2 tablespoons of dark rum. All right, I'm going to mix that up really quick. All right. Now we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of our allspice again. Remember the allspice? It's going in there. And a half a teaspoon of cardamom, which, oh God, I wish you guys, someday maybe they'll have smell-o-vision on here and we can smell it all. And all we're doing is just mixing it all up, just like that. All right? So that's going to be our liquid part of our thing. So now we're using shredded coconut, and this is unsweetened coconut. I bought in the stores, just any old good old-fashioned coconut you have. And what you're going to do is you're going to add about a half a teaspoon of salt. I have a little salt here. All right, half a teaspoon of salt. And then you're going to add about a pinch of cayenne. I have some cayenne pepper here, so like a little pinch of cayenne. And I'm adding a little bit more of allspice, that fresh allspice that I ground today. So as again, allspice is our way to go. And all I'm doing, guys, is mixing it all up together. All right? So now we have our dry and we have our liquid. And all we need left to do is we need flour. And, of course, we need the shrimp. And I just realized that the shrimp is still in my oh, wait. No, shrimp. Oh, wait, my shrimp's right here. Sorry. All right, so I've got some shrimp here. So this shrimp is raw. You want to use raw shrimp for this. It is, now there is different sizes of shrimp. There is, the shrimp that I'm using today is called a 1620 shrimp. All right, that means there's 16 to 20 shrimp per pound. And so if you see that, so whenever you see a number, if you get a bag of shrimp and you see a number and it says like 1620 or whatever, 25 to whatever, those are the size of the shrimp. So know that, this is a decent sized shrimp. This is what I would use at a restaurant for like shrimp cocktail or whatever you want. So that's a 1620 shrimp. Now you can get them bigger. There's ones that they call U10s. That means they're called, U10 means under 10 to a pound. So there's all kinds you can get. So what we're going to do is this also, if you can get them, you want to get them peeled, which means they took off the shell. You want to see if they can leave the tail on. And you want them, you'll see it, sometimes it's called P&D, which is peeled and deveined. So as we all know, you always want to take out that little vein in the top. Listen, personally, it will not hurt you. You can always eat it within there, but nobody likes it because I'm going to say it. I know we're cooking today. It's the poop shoot of the shrimp. All right, sorry. Anyways, you want to take that out. And so this is what it looks like when it's done. Now, these shrimp, I could not get P and D. I could get D, which was the vein, but I couldn't get P. But the peel came right off and after I defrosted these. So we're going to take that and we're dusting it with a little flour. Now, if you want to make these gluten-free, easy, just replace the flour with cornstarch and you're good to go. So we're dusting our shrimp and then we're placing it right into our batter that we made with the coconut milk, the cream to coconut and the rum and all that good stuff. And then we're literally putting it right into our coconut, shredded seasoned coconut. All right, just like that. Okay, there's one. We'll do a couple more. All right, again, we're dusting. Just like that. Okay, and then we're putting it in our batter. And then back into the coconut. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm using like dry hand, wet hand. So that way all of your gloves, if you're wearing gloves, or your hands don't both get really, really super messy. All right, we'll do one more. All right, so again, drop it in the flour. So it goes flour. And then you drop it into your wet. Now, as you notice, there's no egg in this because the coconut, the cream to coconut is our binder for this. So we don't need egg. Now, this recipe is my friend Ken, who watches me all the time, asked me if we could do this in the air fryer. So I actually created this recipe for the air fryer. So I do not recommend this for the deep fryer, and I'm going to show you guys in a minute. All right, I'm going to get rid of my gloves here. put that away. Because you know what time it is. It's time for our favorite segment. What's Joe drinking? Well, Joe's drinking we're still on, today's the last day of dry January. So Joe hasn't been drinking at all. Can you tell? I actually have been losing weight. But anyways, today I'm having a mocktail, and this one is, it goes kind of with our theme. This is a painless painkiller. It has no alcohol in it. It literally is orange juice, cream to cocoa, and I put in a little bit of grenadine, shook it up over ice. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. All right. Back to, so that's what Joe's drinking. Next week during the game, we'll be back on track, as you know. All right, here we go. So, we're going to take our shrimp. We turn on our air fryer, and you're going to have your air fryer at, you want to go low on this air fryer, so you're going to put it on fry, and you're going to put it at 300 degrees, okay, for this. And then you're going to literally put out your air fryer basket, and we're going to just place these right in the basket, just like that. Oh, I wish you guys could smell this. They really smell good. Kind of also smell a little bit like Dunkin' Donuts, the coconut donuts I love so much. All right, so we put those in there until they're done. All right, when they're done, they look like this. They look just like that. And the sauce I made for them, really super simple. Buy any kind of sweet chili sauce you like. Add to that in a saucepan. Add one small can of the pineapple, of your pineapple juice. You know, the ones you get in the small cans like you use for cocktails. Okay, pour that in with your sweet chili sauce. You can add a little hot chili sauce in there if you want, whatever you want. Bring it to a boil. Then bring it down to a simmer till it thickens. It looks like that when it's done. These are our shrimp. They look absolutely delicious. And then, of course, now we got our ribs. And I've got to pull my ribs out. All right. Here's our ribs. And those have been in the oven for 3 hours. And then what we're going to do is we're going to literally just take our ribs and we're going to cut those down. Oh, look at this. You're talking ribs to die for right here, folks. Look at that. Look at those ribs. I'm going to grab a couple of bones. Just like that. I got a plate. Just like that. Okay. There's some beautiful pork ribs. Look at those pork ribs. So, a lot of people are probably saying, Joe, who are you rooting for next week? And I'm like, well, I love both teams. I have so many friends down in the Tampa area, and I have so many friends out in the Kansas City area. But let's face it, guys. I live in New England, and I have, as a chef, I have personally fed two of the biggest stars that are on the Tampa team that happen to be playing next week. So I got to go with the Bucs. But anyways, to my friends Gronk and Tom, I hope you guys win next week. And to everybody else, we're going to be off next week because it's Super Bowl and you don't want to watch me. You want to watch the game, as I do. So we'll have some kind of best of next week if you're not watching the game. But until then, for 2 weeks from now, we'll be back. And don't forget, you can always follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Chef Joe Louie. And also, all of my videos are posted on YouTube on my Chef Joe Louie channel. So don't forget to do that if you're not watching live. And until I see you in 2 weeks, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. And don't forget, it'll be Sunday with Chef Joe.